And welcome to the Hit Squad. Chad Range alongside Jesse Finney on 101sports.com. Always follow us on Twitter at HitSquad101ESPN. And then you can hit us up on email, hitsquad@101sports.com. We want to know your thoughts and feelings on the MMA world. And I kind of want to just start this off with, big news has been A-Rod and the A-Roids. And I just kind of want to follow up. What do you think as far as MMA goes? I know people have been caught with, steroid use. And just talk about, do you think that's a problem in MMA, the way steroids has been a problem in, Major League Baseball? And secondly, A-Rod getting, pretty much axed through the whole 2014 season. What kind of penalties do these guys look at? Do they just look at, getting, fined? Or do you ever see something being like, okay, well, you're out for a year?
Well, yes, I do. But here's the thing is that's a Major League Baseball can control that. With mixed martial arts, there's different organizations. So let's say that, let's just use, for example, let's say that Tito Ortiz got bopped for steroids, which he did not. He got popped for steroids with the UFC. And after, 2 times, 3 times, they say, you know what, you're done. You're done with the UFC. Well, someone else is going to go pick him up.
Yeah.
So it's not like an organization that can control that,
And
like Major League Baseball. But I also say this is, do I think it's a problem in mixed martial arts? I think steroids in general is a problem for all the sports. Golf, if you really, think about it, it makes you bigger, stronger, and faster. Let's call
Absolutely.
it how it is. But at the same time, I also say this is, mixed martial arts is really trying to clean it up in the UFC. Because here's what some people don't understand is the UFC pays for the drug testing. Okay, the UFC pays for that. It's not mandatory. The mixed martial arts or the associations, like the Missouri Athletic Commission, they don't pay for that. They recommend to the organization, but to a UFC or someone else, but they don't have to do it. And they really can't force your hand. And they can make your life a little more difficult, but at the same time, the UFC is actually wanting to, try to get that out of mixed martial arts.
And are there any associations, Las Vegas, Nevada, that say, okay, we're gonna, we do, or is it just something they always put off on the UFC for an expense reason?
It's an expense for the UFC, but at the same time, why would they not want to? Because the UFC wants to try to clean the sport up. UFC wants to try to, organize and structure us. Like Shamrock Fighting Championships. Do we test for steroids? No, we don't. But are we going to in the near future? Yes, we are. Now, and I will say that the reason we do that is because then we can't get these kids that are all roided out, and the next kid's not roided out. There's a major disadvantage there.
And, we always talk about it's the minor leagues. Once they step up to the majors, there is a psychological part of steroids. I think you've seen it with a lot of baseball players. And I think it'll be interesting. Ryan Braun. We'll see if Ryan Braun is the same Ryan Braun when he comes back than he was before. He's not going to have the juice. He's going to realize, okay, this is just my ability. And that's kind of, if they get, if they're doing steroids in the, minor leagues, Shamrock Fighting Championships, and they kick it up to, the UFC, well, now the pressure's on. And if they can't take that juice, it becomes a head game, and they might get beat down, and that's obviously not what you want.
Well, and listen, you're not talking baseball here, or you're not talking hockey.
Right.
You're talking fighting.
Physical fight, yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So interesting stuff. And I tell you what, we're going to keep the baseball analogies going as far as being hot. Pittsburgh, they've been hot. Dodgers have been hot. Jesse Finney on his picks has been red hot. I tell you what, once again, I got one pick right. You got all of them right. What are we even playing for? We're going to have to figure that out. I'm 26-21. You are now 35-12. That's a very respectable record right there.
Well, and I will say this to you, and I appreciate the compliment, but I also say that at the same time, a lot of these are. Last week I let you pick 3.
I was going to say,
I let you pick 3 out of 5 and said I'll take the opposite. But at the same time, this is also that's a sport of mixed martial arts. There was times that I was going 1-4, and the thing is, I was doing just the same homework right now that I was back then. So with mixed martial arts, it's kind of almost like a guessing game. And right now, I'm doing something right. I found my 4-leaf clover.
He is on fire. UFC 163. Like I said, he went 5 for 5. Jose Aldo defeating the zombie, the Korean zombie.
Korean zombie. It was actually a better fight than what I thought it was going to be.
Went 4 rounds.
Yeah, 4 rounds all the way. But and Aldo actually broke his foot in the first round. So that's. Aldo's pound for pound one of the top 3 guys in the world. So and you can make an argument, and I know people call me crazy here, but you can make an argument he could be the top #1 guy in the world.
Pound for pound, yeah.
So
absolutely,
I mean,
yeah.
he really is. He's on a league of its own, and his leg kicks and his jiu-jitsu is just sick.
He will be out 3 months with that broken foot, so I hate to see that, you know. But
Especially your champion, he's out three months, but I mean that's probably 3 months. He can't really probably train for another month and a half, so it's probably going to be out probably at least 4 to 6.
right, about half a year he's going to be missing there upcoming. So that's definitely a shot to the UFC because, like you said, I think he's really becoming a guy who's, you know, that crown jewel as far as definitely in the, you know.
Extremely marketable because he's not just a wrestler that's going to lay on top of you. Jose Aldo is a guy that wants to go out there and fight and wants to bang with you and wants to kill your legs. I mean, he's an exciting guy to watch in the UFC.
Boy, talk about getting derailed. Lyoto Machida taking on Phil Davis. That one goes the distance and goes to Phil Davis.
It was. Phil Davis is a tremendous D1 wrestler. He's out of Penn State. He won it on his wrestling. I will say this, Machida actually looked better in this fight than he has in the past, so he's getting to get a little ground with me because he started to push the fight a little bit. But you know what, at the end of the day, when you got to wrestle like Phil Davis, and when Phil Davis wants to take you down, Phil Davis is going to take you down. And I also say that with Machida is also a guy that is, you know, he's going to be, it's going to be close. Look, we'll see how much longer he's got with the UFC. I think he's going to have a home for 2 or 3. If he takes 2 more losses, it might be time for him to go, and they might boot him. But he's got a great name with the mixed martial arts. Would somebody snatch him up real quick? Someone really would. And let's see who he's going to be fighting next, because I think that
you know,
we're going to be interested to see where he's going to be. Because if he loses the next one, what is the UFC really going to do with him?
he was eyeing John Jones. Well, that's not going to happen now.
You can eye him from the back because he's not eyeing him anymore. John's going this way, Machida's going this way.
So yeah, good for him. Then then the 3 you let me pick, and I did not get one right. And boy, I tell you what, when I saw what happened there, Cesar taking on Tygo Santos. First round, 47 seconds. That thing is over by guillotine.
Quick.
Oh man, this is
Quick. And were you thinking, oh my God?
Oh, by that time, yeah, I'd already lost the other 2. I thought, well, and I thought, well, Machida will win. He'll run around and he'll point it out and win. And, I had Aldo, but you had Aldo too. But nope, everything fell apart.
Hey, there's good
there.
weeks, there's bad weeks, and you had a terrible week.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I tell you what. What did you see from Caesar? You didn't get to see much of him. I mean, he made short work, so.
I saw him, he's got a good choke.
Yeah, it went quick.
He could be a contender in the near future. I mean, the guy's got really good jiu-jitsu, so we'll see how he goes coming up on. He'll probably have a fight probably the next 60 days because his fight was so fast. They're gonna probably
get
tell
him back out there.
Yeah, and they're gonna say, listen, you ready to go? Unless he was banged up going into the fight, he could be a late minute replacement for someone coming up real soon. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand is. For these Brazilians to get over to America, it's pretty tough. For Americans to get over to Brazil, it's pretty tough. Brazilians don't like to fight other Brazilians over there. So it's kind of one of those deals where if there's their fight card, they might get him in the States here pretty soon, so he doesn't have any visa issues. And then he's not banged up, I'm assuming, from the fight. So he might move his camp over to the United States and then be ready for a fight here, real short notice.
Another middleweight fight. I took Tom Watson. I was on the losing end of that one, too. That one went the distance, getting the decision. Ouch.
Ouch.
It just keeps happening.
Sucks to be you.
It does this week.
Sucks to be you
This has
week.
been a rough one, for sure. So, and then John Lineker, the flyweight. I took Tomei. Lost that one, second round KO.
He's violent, man. Lineker's violent. I mean, he's someone to keep your eye on right now. He comes hard. He comes out banging. So, he's someone to keep an eye on. I'm telling you that right now. Remember him.
Well, we got a great show. We're going to be tackling all kinds of things. In our next segment, it's back to Fox, UFC. And I'm excited about this card because there's a very, I followed the Ultimate Fighter, and of course we got Chael Sonnen and Uriah Hall on this card. So we'll be kind of tackling that in the upcoming segment. You're watching The Hit Squad on 101sports.com.